Hello viewers and welcome to The Agenda here on NewZimTv. The country is bracing for general elections in 2023 and there has been a lot of talk from different political parties. Today with me in the studio is Mr. W.A Mubaiwa. He is the president of National People's Congress and today he is here to discuss with us what made him want to start this political project, the background of the political party, what they aim to achieve and where they are going as we look forward to the 2023 general elections. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rizzi. First of all, I don't want you to call it my party.
Yes.
The idea was not mine. I had the idea in me, but it was never my idea that we come to where we are today. Sometime in 2018, after the elections, I had contested as an independent candidate. Then some people who thought that things needed to change came to my office and said, let's start something. In fact, they said, let's go back to my Mjuru's party because I had been a member of the National People's Party. And they said, they actually said, come and lead the party because we don't think my Mjuru is coming. I said, no, I cannot come and lead the party because I resigned. And the due process requires that once you resign, you cannot go back unless you go through another due process to come back in. And I said, I'm not prepared to do that, because I don't think the conditions that made me leave have changed. They still exist. Okay.
So, as you say, you and some people started this project. What does NPA stand for? And maybe you can also give us a brief background of where you are coming from.
Where we are coming from is that after the people came to the office, I said, because we cannot work with the NPP, let's see if we can't work with the existing parties. Specifically, we talked about the MDC because it was still one at the time. And we talked about ZANU. Let's analyze this and see whether we can't work with them individually or collectively. The conclusion was reached that no, we can't, because the ideologies are different. And the processes they go through, the behaviors are different. So we then said, let's consult the country. We started our consultation on 5 February 2019. And we said, let's consult every province. Let's look for leaders in each province whom we can consult and say, what can we do? The question was, what can we do to move forward as a country? So the consultation was done in every province. In each province, it had to consult itself. We identified a key person, and we then said, identify other leaders in your province. Ask them how we can move forward. We wanted to find out whether the idea resonated around the country that we needed something. Fortunately, 90% of the respondents said we needed something different, something that will work in a different way. Issues that came out was confrontation, activism. We said these things need to be removed. We needed a party that focused on development, no activism, no confrontation, promoting dialogue across all political divides, and inviting it. And when invited, go into dialogue. So we therefore said we needed a new entity that behaved differently politically. Because we said only when you can behave differently politically can you behave differently when you're in government.
Okay.
Yes. So that consultation ended in November last year, and we needed to start at that time. But we were approached by colleagues who thought they could work with us.
Okay.
But these are colleagues from NPP. We gave them time to conclude their own consultation, which is still ongoing. So we delayed our starting. So the starting was not my idea. It was my idea and others. And the whole country agreed that, at least those that we consulted, agreed that we needed to start something new that is different. Something that is focused purely on development. And when you focus on development, you are not focusing on your own personal development. You are focusing on the development of the country. And we agreed, therefore, if we are focused on development, that includes everyone. Our philosophy had to be Ubuntu. Why Ubuntu? We believe Ubuntu as a concept. If our academics would dare to go research into it, I don't think they have. They would discover that in terms of where it is above democracy. The difference, the main difference, there could be many that can be discussed. But the democracy talks about human rights. There is very little of respect that comes into it. Ours starts at the level of respect, because you can't achieve human rights if you don't respect your neighbor. You cannot accord him his human rights if you don't respect him. So we said we have to start from Ubuntu. We respect each other. We help each other. We look after each other as people. Once we do that, it means development can be achieved across the country without considering where it is supposed to be, but considering the needs of the country, the needs of every individual. Because the needs of every individual of a household must be the same as the next one. That's why we help them when they are in need. And when we move to villages, the needs of that village must be the same as the next one. And they must help each other. It goes on to the district, to the province, and to the whole country.
Okay.
So if that concept becomes ubiquitous, then you are beginning to integrate the country. In other words, people can now start to work together.
Okay.
Because if people cannot work together, if I come here and you point a finger at me and say, you are a Tembo, I am Ziva, I can't work with you. We can't have unity because the beginning is working together. So we said when we integrate the country, it means we can achieve some kind of unity.
Okay.
A starting point.
Okay. Maybe as you are talking about Ubuntu, this country has been here before. We have been at a point where we have new political parties and then they have their ideology. Maybe my question to you is, what is it that you are offering that is different from all those other political parties, opposition political parties?
What we are
offering, even the ruling party.
What we are offering is the way we think things should be done. I'll give an example. Policies in this country, when you look at bills that go through Parliament, all things that are discussed, they normally start in an enclosed room. People bring that bill at the time when they want it to be discussed in Parliament. We are saying no, that's not the starting point. The starting point is that an idea must be thrown around the country. And people with the requisite knowledge throw in their ideas, just like what happened with the Constitution of 2013. So the idea must be developed by everyone. When I say everyone, I'm not saying the 15 million Zimbabweans. We are organized into groupings. You represent a certain group. The NGOs represent a certain group in their different ways. The government represents us all in a different way. We must get ideas from each of the different groupings that make us, that makes us a nation. Our nation must be defined by who we are. So when everyone's idea comes up, then that's when you can choose a team that drafts a bill. Even if it has to be done, say, by the Attorney General's office or whoever who has done it, sometimes it's done by an MP through his own means because he sees a need for something to be done. But he must consult widely before he writes it down, because it's not what we have studied that is in our heads that matters. It's what everyone else thinks, even the uneducated. Sometimes they've got better wisdom than us. Ours comes from the books and it's information. But we need wisdom to get to where we are going. So the books alone are not enough. In my own opinion, they may not even, your professorship, your doctoral, your master's, whatever education you have, may not contribute even more than 20% of what you need for a country to become a nation. So our starting point is, because of Ubuntu, is to define our nationhood. Who are we as a nation? What is the role of each member of this nation in that? So there is no segregation when we come to implementing projects. We must communicate as a country. We must communicate as a region. We must communicate as a continent. And we must communicate with the rest of the world. What we are trying to establish is a position that puts us in a situation where we contribute effectively. First, to our own local area, whether it's your house, whether it's your village, whether it's your district. Then secondly, the complementary effects of development that come from your own work must filter to the next guy. It must filter to the next province. It must filter to the next country and the whole world. Remember, we are not black by accident. We are not Africans by accident. That's who we are. And if we think we can't achieve anything, which means we think God put in us, I've heard many preachers say that, something that makes us not advance. But I think when you go back to Ubuntu, because we need to work as a nation. I'll give you an example. When we were colonized and we had the war of 1896, we had been having wars as neighbors. Dynasties were fighting each other. The western side was fighting the eastern side. But on the day the war started, they united and fought the colonizers as one. Which means there was a system that we used that made us set aside our differences to fight for a common goal.
Okay.
If we could achieve it in 1836, before there was a degree, before there was a diploma, before there was a certificate, if we could achieve it then, for the nation to come together and fight for something that is common to